Good morning. My name is Amanda Post, and I am so excited to be with you today. I am a senior graduating in 16 days, but no one's counting. I will have a degree in communication and journalism with a minor in business administration. During my time at St. Thomas, highlights of my involvement include Tommy Ambassadors, the 2020 Strategic Student Advisory Planning Committee, peer ministry, the Student Alumni Mentor Program, and a marketing and communication internship with the Division of Student Affairs. I also had the amazing opportunity to serve as the student MC for the announcement of the $200 million for Students initiative. It is exciting to be a part of the launch and to know that students will receive even more scholarship support in the years to come. As I near the end of my undergraduate career, I am overwhelmed with gratitude for the generous support and for the investment that the people just like you in this room and countless others have made toward my future. I am especially grateful to be a recipient of the Joseph and Ann Sheely Endowed Scholarship. I am also excited to share with you that after graduation, I have accepted a full-time position as a senior research analyst with the Lewin Group, a branch of Optum. It is so wonderful to see the fruits of my education at St. Thomas come to life. With that, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Scholarship Spotlight, a very special opportunity to thank scholarship donors and to connect them with students like me who have received these scholarships. Father Larry Snyder, Vice President for Mission, will now offer an invocation.
Thank you, Amanda, and good morning. Let us now join in prayer. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the many gifts that you have given us. We thank you, too, for the years that we have used for the building up of your kingdom through the good works of this university. We ask you today to bless these student scholars and to give them success in their endeavors. We ask you to bless the benefactors who have given these students encouragement and opportunity. And we ask you to bless each of us. Give us continued strength and new vigor for the work that we do. Bless this food and grant that as we sit down together at table in joy and sincerity, so we may grow always closer in the bonds of friendship. We ask this through your great name. Amen. Enjoy your lunch.
I hope everyone enjoyed lunch and spending time meeting one another. I'd like to let you know before we continue on any further that the donors and students will have the opportunity to have their photos taken after the luncheon. And please gather in the back of the room with the photographer to the my right side of the stage here. Now we will hear from President Julie Sullivan about the impact of scholarship philanthropy at St. Thomas. Dr. Sullivan is finishing her 5th year as president of St. Thomas. We were just discussing at lunch how her first winter here was the polar vortex in Minnesota. That was my first winter here at St. Thomas as well, so it's been wonderful to look back on that time together. I can tell you from personal experience that she is passionate about scholarship aid for students. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Julie Sullivan.
Well, thank you, Amanda. And yes, you are right. This is a real passion for me. I also was fortunate enough to have a scholarship when I was an undergraduate student, and it meant so much to me, just as it does to so many of our students in this room today. And this event, because of that, is one of my favorites. It is an event where we have the opportunity to express gratitude. Expressing gratitude is always a joyful thing, but this is even more joyful because we're expressing gratitude to our donors for helping our students. And our students are why we are here. Our students is what St. Thomas is all about. Our faculty and our staff, our alumni, our board of trustees, everyone is student-centered. We all put students first. And to have the opportunity to express the gratitude to those of you who make their education at the University of St. Thomas possible is a very, very special and unique time in our year. You know, without your support, many of our students wouldn't be here at St. Thomas. Many of them wanted to come here. Many of them often thought, well, I'm not going to be able to make it work when they go back and talk to their families about the finances. But because of your support, they're able to say, yes, I can go to St. Thomas. They're also able to follow their dreams and their passions. We have a number of different outstanding programs, and you'll find the scholarship winners that you're interacting with today are majoring in any number of majors across our campus. But they have the opportunity to follow that passion, to be an entrepreneur, a diplomat, humanitarian, a scientist, a teacher, an author, a theologian, an accountant, an engineer, wherever their talents and dreams take them. So we want you to know how grateful we are for what you're doing for us, but mostly for our students. Now, the person that leads the team that helps these students through this process, that actually helps us find the students that we really believe are committed to advancing the common good, that we really believe are going to be the true Tommies that we've attracted for decades, is Al Cutrone. Al Cutrone is our Vice President of Enrollment Management, and his job with his team is to go out and find the best and the brightest, but not only the best and the brightest who want to make a difference in the world and who care about other people. To go out and find them, to make sure they come and see St. Thomas, and then to make sure we offer them a financial aid package that helps them make the decision to come here. So I'm not about to try to explain his job to you, but I can tell you he does it extremely well. And so I'm pleased to invite him up here to tell you how he attracts the best and the brightest who want to advance the common good and who become those Tommies here and then become that Tommy network of alumni going forward. So Al?
Thank you, Julie. That was flattering and wonderful. And I have, as Julie said, I have had the ability and the enjoyment for the past year, a little bit over a year now, of overseeing the recruitment and the financial aid and the things that bring in the students who are here. And it has been just a thrill and a joy to work with a team of some really great people who make this happen all around. I was asked to come up and talk a little bit about how do I see, the support making a difference, the flexibility and the generosity that so many people in this room give to so many other people in this room. And I realized at one level it's really simple, right? My group is where the rubber meets the road. A student wants to be here. They don't think they can make it work. We're able to find a gift that enables them to make that decision to come. But that doesn't explain what really makes the difference. And as I thought more about it, it is more along the lines, I think, of letting those who should be Tommies become Tommies. And let me try and explain. I came up through public accounting and started my career at Price Waterhouse. And at the time, there were 8 big 8 public accounting firms. And when we would go out to recruit students, they would come up to you and they'd say, golly, you work at a big 8 public accounting firm. They must all be about the same. You do the same boring accounting and tax work, don't you? Aren't you all just the same? And to the student, you could see why they thought that. But for us at Price Waterhouse, how could you ever imply that we were anything like another firm like Coopers and Lybrand? Never mind that we merged 5 years later. We didn't. But to us, we knew that there was a big difference in culture and in the firm, and it was right for the right people that we wanted to come and join us. Now, everyone in this room gets what it means to be a Tommy. Whether you've given, whether you are a faculty member, whether you are a student, you get what it means. You know that we are here to advance the common good. You know that we learn and we teach and we work that way. So everybody here knows that. Everybody here appreciates our mission. We have a wonderful mission and an intent. It's pretty timeless. It has to operate in a constantly changing world, but we all get that. Now, who doesn't get it are the students out there, the high school students who should become Tommies, who have that appreciation for what we're here to do, who can work hard at it, who can understand what they can benefit from, how we as a university can help move them along the path to making a difference globally, but also in their own personal lives as they go through. So where it comes together is as my team meets a student and we begin to say, same as we used to say, wow, you should be at Price Waterhouse. When we see a student and we begin to realize, wow, this is a student that should be at St. Thomas. This is a student who can help us live our mission and make it work in the world. We give them their initial financial aid package in November or December, and it's kind of where we start. We learn more about them. And as we get toward May 1st, which is the National Decision Day, they begin to come in and say, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. They often will say, and it's the same thing I saw at the public accounting firms. I'd get to the end of the cycle, another firm would allow a student to go to a particular client or give them another $2,000 in salary. And it would break my heart when they would leave and go to a firm that I didn't think they'd be quite as good a match. That's just a public accounting firm. When that starts to happen here, and we realize that another school maybe is offering them a little bit more money, or is going to give them a different housing setup, or is going to allow them to do whatever it may be, and they're in a point because it's such a whirlwind that they're about to make that decision. They've been asked by their parents and their families and their friends. When we have the flexibility through the generosity of the people in this room to sit down with mom and dad and prospective student and give them an extra amount, give them a gift that comes from one of the donors in this room, for example, it makes all the difference, and it really allows things to align. Because then we can take a student that we know is going to be a great Tommy. We can take away any impediment that might have been there that would have kept them from being a great Tommy, and then it comes together, and that's where the magic happens, and that's why it's so fun to do what I do. So that's what we appreciate all of you for. That's why we are so grateful. That's why we're so excited to be looking for more and more opportunities to help the students who are at your tables to come here and be a Tommy just the way we know they should. So from me and all of my team, we want to say thank you so very much for everything you do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cutrone, for sharing your insights. It is now my pleasure to introduce Zhou Vang and Brenda Perez, who will share their perspectives. Zhou Vang is a first-generation student from Minneapolis and is finishing his sophomore year at St. Thomas. Zhou plans to major in computer engineering. While at St. Thomas, he has been an active participant on campus. He also actively volunteers outside of school. Zhou is the recipient of the Morris Family Annual Scholarship. Directly after we hear from Zhou, you'll meet Brenda Perez, a scholarship recipient who is now an alumna. Brenda graduated in 2005 with a double major in Justice and Peace Studies and Catholic Studies and minors in theology and psychology. Originally from Santa Ana, California, Brenda received the Charles and Carleen Haggerty Family Endowed Scholarship while attending St. Thomas. The Haggertys could not be with us today, but they did send us a wonderful message from Mr. Haggerty saying, Brenda is a prime example of what scholarships are all about. With my wife, Carleen, we awarded her a 4-year scholarship to UST, and today she is what I would call our success story. We will hear from Zhou first, and then Brenda.
Good afternoon. My name is Zhou Vang. This is my second year at the University of St. Thomas, major in computer engineering. On behalf of all the student recipients, thank you for hosting Scholarship Spotlight. This is a fantastic opportunity for us to express our gratitude. And donors, you know we won't be here without you. Words cannot express the gratitude we have for your gifts and support in our journey thus far. I was awarded the Morris Family Annual Scholarships. When I received the award, I was extremely happy. I felt like a weight on my future just came off. I want to take this opportunity to explain to you the impact of scholarships and how your gifts help to support us. I am a first-generation college student and immigrant. My family, like many other Hmong families, were refugees from the Vietnam Wars. However, we were one of the last Hmong families to come to the United States. When we got to the US, my father told me, "Son, remember that you have a late start. Work hard and focus on your education." My siblings and I didn't know a single English word, but we hit the ground running. Long story short, my brother graduated from St. Thomas, and I will too. Your gifts open the door for students like my brother and I to endless opportunities. I chose St. Thomas because, one, my brother was here. Whenever he came home and talked about his experience in the academics, I was amazed. I want to have a similar experience. Through the Hmong United Student Associations, I found a community that welcomes me, motivates me, and inspires me to reach for successes and beyond. Seeing students with similar experiences as me on campus being leaders shows that I can be one too. Last year, I served as the treasurer of HUSA, and next year, I will be vice president. And then through the student diversity and inclusion services and the programs and events, I am inspired to educate my peers and myself on social issues and differences, to be an advocate and supporter, and stand up for what I believe is right. I can put more time and effort into my educations because my education is not a financial burden to my family. Speaking of educations, I also chose St. Thomas because it is one of the top private colleges in Minnesota. Before we get to the majors, St. Thomas core curriculums already offers many different subjects. Although I am majoring in computer engineering, some of my favorite courses were philosophy, Christian beliefs, and English. Additionally, St. Thomas offers a wide variety of interesting and exciting majors. I could not decide what to major in until I started taking classes. Initially, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer, but after my first computer science class, I was hooked. So I decided to be a computer engineer instead. I am also an active volunteer outside the classroom. I volunteer weekly at the Rundle Community Outreach Library at the Homework Center. At the library, I help elementary students with their homework and read together. I remember when I was new to the US and I couldn't read or write at all. Now it's amazing to be able to pay it forward and serve my community. After graduations, I plan to join the United States Marine Corps and serve our nations. I want to serve because of how much these nations have done for my family and other families like mine. After that, I want to research more about artificial intelligence and bring Jarvis from Iron Man to life. Our St. Thomas educations and opportunities that my fellow recipients and I receive would not be possible without your generosity. Scholarships strengthens our paths, our bridges, and our staircases. As you would imagine, without the scholarships, many of us will fall through the cracks. I, for one, would struggle a great deal financially in college if it weren't for scholarships. Your gifts have made a significant impact on our academic and life journey. These are invaluable contributions. In my heart, I am forever grateful for your support. We are forever grateful to you and others before you. These contributions, without a doubt, will be one of the main factors in our successes and dreams actualized. Thank you very much.
He's taller than me. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brenda Perez, and I graduated from the University of St. Thomas in May 2005. As Amanda mentioned earlier, I double majored in Justice and Peace Studies and Catholic Studies, and I minored in Theology and Psychology. In brief background, I was born and raised in Santa Ana, California, a small town in Orange County, which is predominantly a low-income community. Since I can remember, my parents taught me the importance of hard work and education, which I strived for throughout my high school journey. However, the idea of attending a four-year university was always simply a dream due to our economic situation. Fortunately, at the age of 8, I became part of a ballet company as a dance student in our city, the Wooden Floor, which is a youth development, community-based, nonprofit organization which provided high-quality dance training, but it also provided family services, tutoring programs, and college preparation courses. At the time, Mr. and Mrs. Haggerty served on the board of trustees for the company, and they awarded 4 Charles and Carleen Family Endowed scholarships to attend St. Thomas, one of which I received. Filled with fear of the unknown, I knew accepting this award was the best way to attain my academic goals and dreams. This was the reason that I chose to attend and accept St. Thomas. The moment I arrived on campus, I felt at home. Many of the people I met, including staff, faculty, and students, became lifelong friends. This happens to include my husband, Eusebio, who is also a St. Thomas alum and is sitting in the audience. My life experience drove me to get involved and be active in local Twin Cities nonprofit organizations. However, it was my mentors and service opportunities at St. Thomas that further shaped and prepared me for the future. I held leadership roles in the multicultural student group HANA, and I also volunteered in the tutor mentor program, was a mass coordinator, and a student liaison to the board of trustees. I was blessed with the opportunity to study abroad in Italy for a semester my junior year as part of the Catholic Studies program. Since graduating, I stayed to live in Minnesota, and we now have 2 beautiful children, Douglas, who is 7 years old, and Madeline, who is 2. As a family, we continue to actively participate in various St. Thomas events, such as homecoming celebrations, Delta Sigma Pi alumni gatherings, and of course, we attend many Tommy Johnny games. For nearly 10 years now, I've been employed at a local immigration law office as a manager of immigrant visa services with Davis & Goldfarb. I get to work and help families from all over the world. My passion has always been to serve others, and I feel fortunate to do that every day. When I reflect on my life, especially my life in Minnesota, there is no way to not include the Haggertys. The opportunity they gave me 17 years ago changed my life in more ways than I could ever imagine. I will forever be grateful to them because it literally opened the world to me. By awarding me the Haggerty Scholarship, you have also lightened my financial burden, which allowed me to focus more on the most important aspect of school, which is learning. Leaving my hometown because of this opportunity changed my future, my life journey, and my perception of the world. But your generosity has inspired me to help others and give back to the community, and I hope that one day we will be able to help students achieve their goals just as you have helped me. In the last few years, my husband and I have provided an annual gift in support of the Wooden Floor Ballet Company, and we recently provided a gift to the Haggerty Family Endowed Scholarship in honors of Charles and Carleen Haggerty. My educational pursuits would not be possible without the generous support from scholarship sponsors like you. And we hope to continue supporting this and other scholarship opportunities for students. On behalf of the St. Thomas Scholarship recipients and myself, I wholeheartedly thank you for your continuous support and for your generosity. It is because of kind and generous people like you that dreams do come true. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zah and Brenda, for sharing your stories. We are grateful that you are willing to do so. And to the donors here today, thank you for your generosity in supporting St. Thomas and participating in today's luncheon. I would like to ask student scholarship recipients and St. Thomas faculty and staff to stand and offer a round of applause for these generous donors. We are so very thankful for you. And this concludes our program for today. Before you leave, there are 2 reminders. Donors and students, please gather for photos at the back of the room to this side of the stage. And for those of you who parked in the Anderson parking facility today, you will receive parking vouchers from the volunteers as you leave the hall. Thank you once again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week.